It is time for the finals. 3 finals are upon us here at the Kartódromo Internacional do Algarve in Portugal, just outside the beautiful city of Portimão, the fantastic coastal town that certainly plays host to a brilliant array of motor racing, because just outside lies the Algarve Resort, which has played host to likes of MotoGP, Formula One, and of course the Champions of the Future Academy program in 2025. 3 finals are upon us. Myself, Anthony Jordan, and Nicole Sutherland in the commentary box, and of course down on the pre-grid area we'll be chatting live to some of the drivers. But before that, let's dive in a little closer at the circuit itself. The Kartódromo Internacional do Algarve, year of opening 2010, event record set in time qualifying yesterday by Gabi Teixeira of Portugal with a 57.483. The total track, though, 192 metres down the start-finish straight, 152 down the second half of that start-finish straight, 1,531 metres. Track widens from 8 to 10 around the circuit, and an elevation change of around 4 metres. It's an undulating circuit, with the lowest part being at turn 12 and the highest being at turn 17. And that very appropriately brings us on to the turns themselves. 10 to the right, 7 to the left, and the 1 hairpin. 17 in total, and all of them provide ample overtaking opportunities. But the main spots that we see those overtakes are around turns 3, turn 8, 5, 13 and 14, and turn 16 out there as well. At the top speed, drivers reaching around 112 kilometers an hour into the braking zone at turn number 2. They do average around 95 kilometers an hour as well, meaning it is a fast and flowing circuit. We hear the music in the background. The drivers' parade begins as the field makes their way out onto the circuit to start their race. So it is coming up. It's OKN Junior. The finals get ever closer as the field makes its way out onto the circuit. It is OKN Junior Final, 14 laps, 21.5 kilometer race distance is ahead of the field here as they make their way under the sunshine here in the Algarve, which is a sight for sore eyes. There is clouds looming around in the area, but the weather so far has been absolutely sublime. Well, let's get you through that full starting lineup of the drivers here. Casper Reipold and Noe Staciones on that front row of the grid. Reipold with 2 wins and Staciones with 2 second places. Manny Nuvolini and Egon Pedrotti taking the second row of the grid. They'll have Didier Krieft and Eda Pizzuto alongside. Pizzuto getting a penalty in the first qualifying heat earlier on. Albert Tam and Benjamin Westwood, they go from row number 4. Westwood and Tam having a little bit of a tangle in a previous race, but both start this one on the 4th row of the grid. Vanessa Chilcanete, yesterday's pole sitter, starts this one from the 5th row of the grid. What can she do from there? We'll have Nicholas Kadianis for company alongside. Mia Ogier and Connor Clancy go from row number 6. They've had a very dominant weekend so far. Curious to see how they get on. Linus Peruzzi and Nathan Capin go from row 7. They'll have Victoria Farfus and Yanis Kolovos on row number 8, and they round out the top 16. Row number 9 sees Emma Dowling and Ji Huafei. Again, ups and down weekends for them, but start this one right smack bang in the middle of the field. Clelia Sodu, who had a retirement earlier on, unfortunately, starts this one on the 10th row of the grid. We'll have Veer Chopra for company alongside. Axel Nocom and Savrier Dudkovsky, they go from row number 11. Jan Mikuleshko and Shivan Mohan go from row 12. They'll have the likes of Keo Shueya and Sanjana Dandu on row number 13. And they round out the top number 26 out on circuit. Angelina Simmons of Spain and Italy's Samuel Del Gaudio round out row number 14 and the top 28. They'll have the close company of France's Julia Mondler and Nefeli Cosmopoulou on row number 15. Julie Anglard and Sujana Dandu round out row number 16. And shotgun at the back of the field, all alone on the 33rd spot, will be Solomon Proega of Colombia. Only the 33 drivers in the category at this point of the weekend. Well, as the field lines themselves up, let's take a closer dive into the category itself. The OKN junior drivers aged between 12 to 14 years of age. Like we were saying, there was 35 entries into the weekend, down to 33 now racing in this final. The karts themselves, the Kart Republic KR2 being powered by the IAMI 125cc two-stroke, 27 brake horsepower being outputted with 15,000 RPM. Minimum weight 140 kilos. That is kart and driver, and any gram underneath that, they will be in a spot of bother with the officials after the race. Tyres. Well, yesterday they were using a mixture of the Vega W6s and the Vega XH4s. Today it's just been the dry compound, the harder of the two compounds, the XH4s. Being used over the course of today. And it is just the one dry set allocated to them per day, which means these tyres will have done time qualifying this morning, the 2 qualifying heats, and now they're about to take part in their longest race of the weekend on these slick tyres. And we are going into the unknown with these ones right now because, of course, yesterday we had the rain. It was wet tyres for the finals, so we didn't see them use these tyres all the way throughout. There's a look at the previous winners of this event. Portimão, of course, race 1. Casper Reipold claiming that win yesterday in the final, and again is in a really strong position to do that again. The driver from Poland looking for maximum points. Didn't score maximum points yesterday in terms of championship points, but today has got a very strong possibility of doing just that. Well, let's head down to the pre-grid. Nicole Sutherland, who have you got for us down there?
I have got Egon stood beside me. Egon, a difficult result in yesterday's racing with the DNF. Of course, today is a brand new day. Points are on the board, but nothing that happened yesterday really affects today. Tell me, how's your mindset? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good because I am P4, and then yesterday because I do like P DNF, so I listen good, and I will do better than yesterday, of course.
And of course, you're starting behind Noyes and Casper, 2 very, very quick drivers. They've both had good results. How do you make sure that you're just as fast, or how do you not get put off by how quick they are?
Yeah, I'm pushing my best, and after we look what we can do, of course.
Well, we'll see what you can do, Egon. Very best of luck. That's the number 31 kart for you. We'll head behind because we've got Enia Pizzuto stood up for me. Thank you very much, Enia. You were just chilling out, sat on one of your tyres. Your number 44 car, tell me, how have you got on this weekend so far?
Yesterday a bit of bad luck, but today better, and I hope to win.
And I think everybody has been expecting a little bit of rain for today's racing. We haven't seen that yet. It looks like you're going to have a dry final. Are you happy that it's going to be dry?
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Great to hear from you then, Enia. We've got over next to Enia, starting at the sharp end of the field, Didier Kreeft. On yesterday's track walk, we spoke to Didier. I'm going to catch up with him once again. Didier, yesterday, some great racing from you. Today, once again, fast, very quick, really controlled with the car out there. Tell me, what's it been like today?
It was really, the qualifying was tough. I was 26, but in the heat, I got 11 and 4. So the speed is there, and I just need to focus on the racing.
And we've seen from our juniors so far, it's really close between all of you. It bunches up and the battles get very feisty. How do you manage that and make sure that you can make those overtakes and not, get a bumper or get caught out by any contact?
Just look forward in the corner and look where's everyone going. Yeah, that's it.
Great to hear from you then, Didier. Behind Didier, starting is the number 14 of Albert Tam. Albert,
yeah.
Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. Was probably a bit worse than yesterday, the heat, but yeah, feeling confident for the final as it's not raining. And yeah, try and give all we could, and trying to get on those top 3 places.
And of course, Albert, you're starting more towards the front of the field. We always expect when we go into the first corner, it's quite busy. As a driver, how do you handle that?
I mean, the first corner is still it's easy flat, so like you could take it quite easy, but the second corner gets already harder. It's all bunched up and tight on the exit, so yeah, you have to really manage it well.
Well, very best of luck to you, Albert. Good luck for this final. We'll see how you get on. I'm going to pass back up then to Anthony Jordan in the box as we are going to head into this junior final very shortly.
Thank you very much, Nicole Sutherland down there on the grid ahead of this final. And yes, correct in saying that this is going to be an interesting one. There's a look at the current Drivers' Championship standings in the OK Junior category. Kasper Reipold, of course, with a nice chunk of points there, 100 points to his name. Noe Stasionis with the 71. This was the points that got them into this position for this final. Of course, Reipold claiming the 50 points to his name to start it on pole position, and of course with the rest of the field as well down that order. Of course, 50 championship points are up for grabs for a race win in this final. And for the drivers ahead of this one, again, it's a tense moment for them. And you can imagine last few words of encouragement. We get the whistle blowing. The flags are getting cleared. Martin Bean is trying to clear the grid as much as he possibly can. But, of course, mechanics do have to stay there to help start these carts up. And there, Kasper Reipold seated, ready to go. Cool, calm and collected. Like we were saying, those 2 wins earlier on, a brilliant set of wins, and the second one on the last corner as well, turn 17, a brilliant move down the inside of Noe Stasionis. We caught up with Noe Stasionis after that race, and there he is on your screen. And again, I think it was a little bit just, I worked so hard for that one, and to lose it on the last corner is probably a disheartening feeling. However, with those 2 second places, he does secure the spot on the front row. The pole sitter of today still on the front row. So you can say, definitely, it's not been a bad day in the office for Noe Stasionis. There is our race director, Martin Bean, on the gantry, not wearing a jacket for the first time this year, which is good to see. He's nice and warm out there. In the sunshine. He's used to warmer climates, though, because he's from the UAE. So every time he comes to Europe, even though it's 30 degrees, it says it's freezing cold. He's one of those.
It's like when British drivers or people go anywhere in Europe, it's way warmer than the UK.
Yes, yeah. You'll see it. You'll come to Spain if you come from UK. All the Spanish population, they're in big coats and everything. The UK rock up, and we're in shorts and T-shirt. There on your screen, Manny Nuvolini from France. A good set of results for him over the course of today. Never been outside the top 10. Third place in that first race. P9 in his second. So some good, strong results there for the Frenchman. The same can be said for the Italian starting alongside him, Egon Pedrotti, with a P8 and a P6. Securing an outside start on row number 2. Really in a strong position here because, again, I'll cast your mind to the seniors. We saw the likes of Marcus Schilkunis, who was able to take a win from that very same position. But, of course, that is in the senior category. This is OKN Junior. But could Egon Pedrotti do exactly what he saw in that senior race? Row number 3 as well, Didier Kreeft and Enio Pizzuto Still a very strong grid of drivers there. We did mention it when we were going through the grid earlier on. Enea Pizzuto did come away with a penalty earlier on and dropped down to 13th place, but recovered back nicely with a P5. There is a look at the hard-working, dedicated marshals out on the circuit. Great work from them all the way across this weekend. They have been quick on the scenes of accidents to help clear and get to the aid of drivers who need their assistance. And again, we could not go racing without that fabulous Orange Army, who here at the Portimão circuit have delivered some fantastic standards for us to be expected over the course of the season. Whistle blows then, drivers make their way out onto the circuit, and this is where it gets interesting. That shot there looks absolutely wonderful. Blue sky as far as the eye can see. However, past your gaze over the hills in the background, that shot there doesn't look anywhere near as nice. They are some dark looming clouds that loom ever closer, and I'm sure Martin, being our race director, will probably want his jacket soon, maybe in the next 20, maybe 40 minutes or so from now. We'll have to wait and see. Nicole, final time. This is what it's all about. Proper championship points up for grabs here. Yes, it's only the first round, but a lot of people say the first round probably the most important.
Yeah, I think the first round as well is where we expect to see these drivers showing us exactly what they've learned over the winter, you know, what they've gone to back to their home countries and learnt, and putting it all on the line here on their last opportunity to impress on the Sunday of this weekend's racing.
Yeah, exactly that. And like you say, with a stacked field, 33 of them out there, every given opportunity to warm those tyres up being given as well. I was talking about this a little bit earlier on. We're going into a little bit of an unknown here with these tyres. It's the first time we, as this championship, have used the Vega tyres at this circuit, the slick tyres.
Yeah.
And yesterday, there wasn't a full day of running on those slicks, was it?
No.
This is now. They've done the morning warm-up on the slicks. They did qualifying on these slicks. They did the qualifying heats on these slicks. Now they're going to have to do the longest race of the weekend on the very same slicks. How do you reckon they're going to be faring right now?
So these drivers are on the Vega White. Of course, as you do more laps on a tyre, the tread does wear down. However, the new tread developed by Vega means that there's really good high wear resistance to this compound. You know, they improve lap after lap because of the new tread. So, you know, there's high grip that can be found out of these tyres. I don't think it's, these karts aren't going to fall off at all compared to maybe a different tyre would. You know, Vega White's good tyre to be on a Kart Republic and with the OKN Junior engine.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, as well, here at the Portimão circuit, it's not a coarse tarmac either.
No.
It's quite a smooth tarmac, so that should last the compound quite nicely. On board, looking back at Egon Prodotti here, the Italian on the second row of the grid, is going to give us a great view of the upcoming race that's about to get underway. Lights are out, we are racing, and it's a solid start for the inside row. Rijpold, Nuvolini and Kreeft will have the benefit there, going down the hill for the first time. In towards turn number 2, sideways under braking. Noia Stasionis will have to slot back in the field. The Lithuanian certainly has tried to hold on to his position as best as he possibly can. Not everyone has got through Sector 1, though, cleanly. There are some drivers that have been caught out at turn number 2, and I think one of them might be Emma Dowling, unfortunately, and I think has been caught out with Julia Angelard as well. Eyes on the front, though, changes for the lead. Down the inside goes the number 32. That's Didier Kreeft into the lead of this race. That's a superb start from the third row of the field.
Yeah, Didier just pushing forward, you know, all those positions, and we're not even we're just over halfway through the lap.
Yeah, exactly that. And they're climbing up the hill once more now. And again, there's still some side-by-side action just in the background. But at the front here, looking mighty, mighty clean and calm. Those top four breaking away. And let's call them across the line. It is Kreeft from Albert, Tam, then Nuvolini, Rijpold, Pizzuto, Schilkeneta from Stasionis, Oja from Prodotti, then it's Peruzzi inside the top 10. But crucially here, Albert Tam looking very strong right now, because Albert Tam in second place started this one on the fourth row of the grid in P7. So that's an astonishingly good start. 5 places gained. And is, I think, actually the biggest mover on circuit. Yes, it is. So 5 places gained. A very strong performance for the driver now sitting in P2.
Yeah, on your screens at the back of this train of karts then sat in fourth is, of course, Mani Nuvolini. Mani, the advantage that he's going to have towards these drivers in front of him is he is a lot shorter. On your screen then, a position made up by the number 12. That is Kasper Reipold back into P2 after he lost the lead previously. But going back to what we were saying about Mani, he's a lot smaller than these three in front of him. So watch the way he gets in that tow and hopefully catches up to the three in front of him. Here we go then, Virtual Championship on your screen. It's Kasper Reipold that leaves from Kreeft and Nuvolini. All three of these, you know, in the top four and fighting for a podium within this race.
Yep, certainly so. Well, eyes focus on this one. Reipold now with the fastest lap of the race, 59.533, utilising that time to close that 0.2 of a second gap. I suspect Albert Tam's going to push him along, though, here nicely, because both of them are going to send it through at turn number 8 and 9. And Nuvolini as well. Yeah, he managed to squeeze his way through with that cheeky little manoeuvre. Did he manage to hold it, though? I don't think he did. No, Nuvolini's back into fourth place. But that was a stark effort there to try and just sneak through. But I think Didier Kreeft was having none of that.
He had a look, and it would have probably been the case where Mani would have backed out of that. He would have been on the outside of the corner, you know, just let it go, let the other driver have it. Here we go then once again into turn 1. The number 12, Kasper Reipold, continues to battle with these front four. Takes a bit more of a defensive line there when he was going into turn 2. The 14 of Albert Tam still sits there trying to chase. The fastest lap then goes to Mia Ogier with a 59.38. Mia is currently sat in... Where is she? She is in P8, so up by 3 positions. On your screen then, a move done by the 32 of Didier Kreeft, gets himself into P2. Kasper Reipold continues to lead. Mani Nuvolini still sat there in 4th. Still no positions gained, but trying to have a look. A little bit of a calm approach, I'd say, to this. He's not trying to break the world record within the earlier stages of this race. You know, we're 3 laps in, plenty more laps to go. Virtual Championship once again on your screen. Kasper Reipold continues to lead. Mani Nuvolini moves himself into P2. But Kasper, fantastic driving throughout this weekend, I'd say, so far. Yeah,
I 100% agree with that one. And all of them still very close here. Under pressure down in towards turns 2, 3 and 4. Like you're saying, talking at this point, you were saying, you know, you're seeing those defensive lines pretty early on. Yes, we were on lap 4 at that point. We're on lap 5 now. But that's kind of like the final mentality that you get from a driver, isn't it? Because you know that you want to make sure you keep that lead as much as possible. But Reipold doing just that. Not seeing too much of a defensive drive from him now. You were speaking to him earlier on, and he was talking about defensive lines all the way throughout. But yeah, right here, right now, I think it's just a focus point here. Just try and work with Kreeft as much as you possibly can. Just try and get to the end. They don't want to fight. They're in a good, strong position here as we go on board with Egon Pedrotti, who I think has just been absolutely sent down the inside there by, I think, someone a little further back in the order. Yeah, Egon Pedrotti went right down the further. It's gone down to 14th place. So I think Vicky Farfus was the last driver to make a move there. There is Yanis Kolovos right on the rear bumper now. Great, great shot there. Looking back, you can see there's quite a significant dent in that nose cone there. I don't think it's dropped on Kolovos's, but it just shows how close they get to the karts in front and behind. Yeah, back on your screens there, we're still focused on these front 2, Reipold and Tam, the 12 and the 32. Tam still sat there behind Reipold. He's not had a look, but Kasper, you know, he's not going to write a letter to Albert and say, you know, come and overtake me. He's going to say to him, if you want to overtake me, you're going to have to be brave and you're going to have to make a big move. Yeah, indeed. Drama further down the order. A breakdown, in fact. It's the 34, unfortunately, of Julia Mondelaire of France, going no further in this race, and that looks to be mechanical in nature, but certainly a very tough one there. Eyes still then on these top 2 as the clouds in the background, not from that shot, you can't see. They are looming ever closer as they start rolling over the hills, but eyes on these 2 here, still no change. Reipold and Kreeft lying astern right now, trying to continue to open up that gap, and it is about a second now, 9/10 of a second. But I guarantee it, the first breath of an overtake we see from Kreeft, Nuvolini will be right with them. And looking at Nuvolini's pace, he's going a fractionally slower, but he's still within striking distance.
Yeah, absolutely. And these front two, if you looked at the lap times of the previous one, Anthony, Casper is only 0.01 of a second faster than Didier Krieft. So Didier is not going any faster. Casper is holding him right there. They're lapping almost identical.
Yeah.
See how they get on as they go over the start-finish line. Once again, Didier Krieft trying to have a look, but Casper Reipold had his head down on the board. Then we've got a warning flag for Salomon Paraugua. We saw the gap between our front two is just over half a second. Still trying to have a look, but Casper Reipold, he just looks so controlled.
He does look controlled right now, and there's a check over the shoulder from Didier Krieft as well, just to assess the situation. Now, we're probably thinking at home, why aren't you going for the overtake? You're right there, go for it. Oh, and I thought he had then. No, he cut back to the group behind. No, that's, I think, Manu Nuvellini battling away with the others
Albert
as
Tam,
well.
I believe that got the move done on Manny.
Yeah, and he's trying it again as well, back down the inside to try and come back. But yeah, Albert Tam now up to third place. But yeah, no, back to what I was saying. Yeah, you're probably thinking at home, why isn't he going for the overtake? He's right on the rear bumper, he knows he's faster, he could go for it. He'll be probably watching his mechanic at the sidelines, and his mechanic is probably saying, push, push, go with them, open up the gap. If you start fighting like now, you're going to be in this battle here, and that's as close as you'd like to see it in the background. Albert Tam, Nuvellini, and Pizzuto really wheel to wheel there into the braking zone.
I think that was Manny Nuvellini getting slightly locked up under the braking. You know, he was braking off of the racing line. Of course, there's not a rubber down, there's not as much grip. He was lucky to get into that corner and get it slowed up. We focus again then on your screens on these front two. Like you said, they'll have their mechanics and their coaches on the sideline waving to them. The gap is big, the gap is small, giving them the guidance that they need to pick the right opportunity. We'll see, you know, later stages in this race, is Didier going to go? But as well, like we were just talking about, just to stop there, there's the 34, that is...
But that was Julia Montlair, but there's another kart now that's there, and that's a little higher up, because that is Egon Pedrotti, the driver who started on the second row of the grid, is no longer circulating around the track, and he is out of the kart, helmets off, and I can imagine he is absolutely devastated.
What we were saying previously then about our leaders is, are they being signalled to push away from the pack behind? Because, you know, once they start battling, they're going to lose time, and they don't want to fall into the clutches of Tam, Nuvellini, Pizzuto, and Noyes.
No, exactly that. But I think another subject is probably looking at that big cloud that's looming ever and ever closer on the circuit. This is a replay.
Oh, just now, post 11, David, race control, you'll see a car outbraked himself, hit the back of the car, pushed him wide.
Yes, indeed, and that rear view camera on board Egon Pedrotti did see there Yanis Kolovos straight into that rear bumper, and now an investigation flag is out there. I don't think that incident there is any correlation to what's happened mechanical-wise for Egon Pedrotti, because you could see that he was still on the circuit when that incident happened. However, I suspect maybe a nose cone penalty, if not even more. But yeah, certainly a very big moment there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, on your screens, the front two battling, well, they're not battling just yet. I hope they start battling very shortly. We're on lap 10 out of 14, so a little bit more time for Didier to maybe have a look. But Casper just keeping just keeping Didier, you know, at arm's length. He's got a little bit of breathing room. He's not had too much of a look just yet. I think from a driver's perspective as well, Casper's probably thinking, okay, I can trust Didier a little bit here. You know, he's not smashing into the back of me. He's giving me the room that I need, and let's leave it until maybe a couple of laps to go. As we go into turn two, then we could just see a big pack of karts having a nice big battle. You know, there is a replay there.
Yanis Kolovos, and again another call.
47's just done the same again at post 8 and put the car off the track.
Oh, okay. So that first replay that we watched was at a different part of the circuit. The second one did involve Egon Pedrotti going off the circuit. Well, I suspect suspect the stewards are not going to be too happy at the number 47 in this race, Yanis Kolovos, but he continues his race at this moment, but he is in P16, but that nose cone has taken an almighty battering in this race. Keeping an eye on this, am I seeing Reipold take a slightly tighter defensive line now? Yes, I think I am. We're on lap 13 of 14, Nicole. It's getting to that tight moment where we're going to see these drivers who have earned that battle, Bubba. They've got a 3-second gap to the drivers behind. That is plenty of gap for them to have a nice little scrap here.
It is crunch time now for these drivers out there, especially this front two there on your screens. Casper Reipold having a look behind his shoulder, seeing where his competitor is. We've got Didier Kreeft. He's trying to have a look. Oh, right on the defensive again, Casper Reipold through the double apex of 8 and 9.
Yeah, certainly so. Down the hill they'll go, and again, just showing showcasing those different racing lines here in towards turns 12 and 13. Now they climb back uphill here. You don't want to make any mistakes up here. You will bog down very, very quickly. You need to hug that inside if you want to hold on to it, and they do hug that inside. A little bit wider on the exit here. Remember, these two have had good battles, but remember that Casper Reipold knows how to deal with these last two corners. We saw it earlier on with that cheeky move down the inside at turn 17. Here we go, wheel to wheel on the outside. Can he get through? Didier Kreeft tries it, but is denied it. Reipold holds onto it into 5. This is an overtaking opportunity once again. He'll get the switchback on the exit, but he hasn't got the pace to get that done. We'll keep an eye on the gap behind because they'll be losing time with all these defensive lines here. Once more side by side between the two of them, but Reipold is positioning the kart beautifully here to defend this lead. Can he go away with an absolutely superb day of racing today, can Reipold? But let's find out. Didier Kreeft saw what Reipold did earlier on at turn 17. Is he going to give him the same treatment? No, he's going to try and go through, and there's contact, and they're both off the circuit. Reipold is out. Kreeft continues, but Manny Nuvolini is there in second place. Nuvolini will be able to go down the inside, and he does go down the inside. It's Manny Nuvolini to the line. He's going to get it. It's Manny Nuvolini for France. Claims the second final win. In an exciting turn of events, Reipold will be furious, and he is. It is completely understandable. He will say the gap was not there at all. But of course, Didier Kreeft will say, I was alongside. But my goodness, that is down to race control. That is down to the stewards. They will look into that one, I think, very, very strongly. But Manny Nuvolini, out of nowhere, clinches it in a nail-biting final end here in Portimão for the OKN Junior category. Albert Tam, he crosses the line, he gets second place in that. He was able to get through. And Enia Pizzuto also getting up onto the podium as well, finishing in P3. Of course, all of this is provisional, and there again you can see the drama. Reipold out of this one. I think he's been joined by Mia Auger there as well. I think she's also gone off the circuit at the same part, but in a completely separate incident. But for Manny Nuvolini, oh, that must be a sigh of relief, has been gifted that win after a very compelling drive in that one. Manny Nuvolini on the last lap takes the final win ahead of Albert Tam and Enia Pizzuto. And with that as well, Manny Nuvolini takes the championship lead, effectively, in OKN Junior. He clinches it with 113 points. It's opened it wide open after the first round. Well, Manny Nuvolini taking the win then ahead of Albert Tam and Enia Pizzuto. Didier Kreeft crosses the line in P4 ahead of No Estaciones. Ji Huafei, we said nothing about Ji Huafei in that race. 12 places gained and finishes in P6. Leonidas Peruzzi finishing in 7th place ahead of Vanessa Schilcanetta in 8th place. Nathan Kappen in 9th. And Nicholas Kadianis rounding out the top 10. But, again, the shots there. Devastation for Casper Reipold. A brilliant day. I'm sure elation for that young man there, Manny Nuvolini, claiming first win of the season. And he's like, yes, I did it. How did that happen? Well, it all unfolded on that last lap. We were expecting moves to come in, and we've not seen many moves on the exit of that corner. Well, let's take a look at the highlights of that race because, well, at the start there were many, and at the end there were many as well. The initial getaway, though, from the field, Rijpol, Nuvolini and Kreeft, really good start for them. Didier Kreeft getting up into second place relatively early on. There were some drivers just going wide onto the gravel. One or two drivers out of the race on the opening lap, two of those being Emma Dowling and Julia Anglard, unfortunately not making it to the end of that final. Top four breakaway then in the early stages, and then we started to see the overtakes there. Didier Kreeft going down the inside, claiming the lead. Albert Tam fighting back as well, but there was the likes of course, Casper Rijpol pushing his way back through, able to get back up into the lead at that point. I thought we were going to have a four-car battle all the way to the end. Kreeft again getting back up into P2, and then from that moment onwards, they kind of broke away from the rest of the field. Enio Pizzuto battling away with Manu Nuvolini still there. I mean, great race for Manu Nuvolini, you know, positioning his car beautifully in that early stage, not allowing anything to really happen too much. This is the rear view from Egon Prodrotti, who unfortunately did retire from that race, having moments with this man here on your screen, Yanis Kolovos, where there was a couple of moments where the two made contact out on circuit during that race, which to one driver's demise ended it. I think this is the first one. This is down the hill and towards turn 12. There's the first initial bit of contact, and you think at that moment that battle would have been over with how sideways they were down into the corner. This was the second place battle. This is how dicey it was getting for P2, which is, I think, why those two didn't really fight at the front. And there it was again, the second contact, but that one sealed it, and straight off the track goes Egon Prodrotti. And you can probably imagine is thinking, what on earth happened? Another driver's thinking, what on earth happened? Is Casper Rijpol, because they're absolutely devastated on the final lap. This is another angle of it. You can see, well, that's a tough one to call there. It's a tight corner. They're both going to the same part of the track, but it's a tough one. And then this bit here, Manu Nuvolini able to get it through, and there you can see Albert Tam a full send there with Enio Pizzuto as well, but I think Tam got the run to the line there. So Tam was actually third place into that final corner, got the run out of it, and just clinched second place, all the meanwhile, while Casper Rijpol was sat in despair at the side of the circuit, and I'm sure in a bit of disbelief after a solid day of racing, for it to come to the end in the gravel trap on the exit of turn number 13 on the final lap of the race. Well, that is a huge shame for him, but there is still two more finals to go, Mini 60 and the OKN Senior Final coming up in a few moments' time. But before that, of course, will be the podium presentations for the OKN Junior category. And I'm happy to report today, this time, it's under the sunshine from what they had to deal with yesterday. But a very, very competitive race there for the juniors. Before those podiums, though, I'm sure we'll be heading down to Nicole Sutherland, who will be down there trying to gather the drivers together and find out what on earth happened at the end there. And I'm sure there are some thoughts from the drivers that I can imagine want to get off their chest at this moment in time. But a very dramatic end to their race. And thankfully, not many immediately applied post-race penalties, just the one, unfortunately, heading to the driver, the number 23, Solomon Paragua. Unfortunately, he did drop down to 25th place. However, he still gained 8 places in that race. Another one of the big movers out there that we didn't say much of, Spain's Angelina Simmons, 14 places gained in that race as well, finished in 13th place. An absolutely superb drive for Angelina Simmons for the first round of the season here in Portimão. Of course, we do head to Angelina Simmons' home country for the next round. We head to Spain in Valencia for the next 2 full race days for round 2 of the Champions of the Future Academy program. And again, a drastically different circuit. We go from a very undulating, very fast and flowing circuit to to Valencia, which is, of course, a little bit smaller, a little bit flatter, but a little bit faster as well. Still very long straights there, but some tight, twisty sections also. Very much looking forward to that round. But like I say, we're not done just yet. Still 2 more finals to go with Mini 60 and the Senior OKN category coming out in a few moments' time. Their racing is due to start at 3:30, which from now, well, is in about 6 minutes or so until that next race. But of course, we will have those podiums in a few moments' time for the juniors. But I can imagine there is some talking going on down there and just thinking, you know, who's won this? Well, fair and square, Manny Nuvolini's won that. A solid drive nonetheless. Albert Tam, I'd say a solid second place on that one, and Enel Pizzuto a third place on what we've seen, of course. But I'm sure there's always a moment after a race where there is some discussion. Of course, nose cones do need to be checked, and that was quite a feisty race that we saw there. So there possibly could be some nose cones that get applied. And then, of course, being at the same weight that you need to be, of course. 140 kilos is the minimum weight for these drivers. Any of them underneath that, and they're immediately taken out of the results of that race. And even if they finish first, if they come in and they're 139 kilos and 9 grams, they don't get anything. Right, Nicole Sutherland is ready. Nicole, over to you.
Thank you, Anthony. I've got Manny Nuvolini then, our race winner. What an absolutely fantastic last lap of that race. Manny, tell me, how was it?
Je suis très content. Hier, j'ai fait une très bonne place en faisant une 3e place. Et aujourd'hui, j'ai attendu et je suis passé 3e. Et j'ai vu les deux s'accrocher et j'ai décroisé pour doubler Crift.
Fantastic result. Congratulations, Manny. Well done. We've got 2 more drivers behind me who, of course, as well, will be on the podium. They took full advantage of that last bit of drama that we saw. We've got Didier Krieft and Albert Tam. Boys, congratulations. Great result this weekend. Didier, tell me about the last bit of drama out there on the circuit.
Every lap he opened that corner, so last lap I thought I'm going for it, and then he straight into me and went off. So, yeah.
And when you were driving round, you know, you were in a group of karts, there was a lot going on. Did you have it in your head that you were capable of getting a P3 result?
Yeah, I was, because I know some guys were fast, some guys were not, but I knew we're going to push with Rashball, so, yeah.
Congratulations, Didier. Behind me as well is Albert Tam. We'll get him to come over. Albert, fantastic result. Well done. I just asked the other 2 boys, you know, there was a lot of drama towards the late stages of that race. Are you happy that you're on the podium today?
Yeah, I'm quite happy. I mean, the race was kind of chaotic. I had to defend a lot because of the slipstream. Yeah, but last lap was a bit disappointing, let's say. I think could have been P1 quite easily, but yeah, we see what will happen because yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic to hear from you, Albert. Well done from me to these junior drivers. We'll pass over to Anthony, who will introduce them onto the top steps of this podium.
Thank you very much, Nicole Sutherland down there. Yes, we are ready for the first podium of the day. Of course, these results do stand as provisional, but we start with 3rd position on the podium. Please welcome Didier Krieft. In 2nd position for Switzerland, it's Albert Tam. And your race winner for France, it's Manny Nuvolini. Well, a brilliant end to their race. We will now listen to the national anthem of France. Big round of applause for your top three in the OKN Junior category. We'd now like to award the trophies to the top three, starting with Didier Kreeft being presented by James Geidel from RJ&C. The second place trophy heading to Albert Tam. And the winner's trophy heading to France's Manny Nuvolini. Well, a brilliant end to their finals. Drivers lift those trophies nice and high up, and if you join each other on the top step of that podium, squeeze in nice and close. There we go. If we get all three of you on the top step, perfect. Nice big smiles, thankfully, today in the sunshine. A brilliant end to their final, but we still have two more finals to go because Mini 60 is coming up next. Mini 60 coming up in a few moments' time as the drivers will start to make their way out onto the circuit for their last race of the weekend. And, well, all the way throughout this one, it has been, well, an interesting set of affairs. Driver starting on pole position for this one, qualified on the 7th row of the grid this morning. The American Wayne Gottschalk is the one to beat in this final. He starts it quite high up in the order as those drivers make their way out onto the track. Still, these drivers, though, they've got a lot to learn, but they are the youngest drivers on our grid, 8 to 12 years of age in the Mini 60 category. From drivers all over the world, of course. A packed grid, 28 drivers running on the Parallel Opportunity chassis. They're being powered by the TM Mini 360cc engine, outputting 12 brake horsepower, revving up to 14,000 RPM. Minimum weight a little bit less, of course, 110 kilos. That is kart and driver included. And again, you don't want to be a gram underneath that. Tyres, the Vega M1s, they will be used for this race. And again, they're in the same sort of situation as the rest. It's a relatively hard compound for the drivers. They won't need to have used the wets just yet of this weekend, but these tyres have used all the way throughout the course of today, which means, yes, it's going to be an unknown for the drivers. But as me and Nicole spoke about it earlier on, they should be absolutely fine here at the Portimão circuit. There is the back of the grid, all getting themselves squared away and sorted onto their starting spots. The clouds still loom over the circuit. They are getting ever and ever closer in the background. That view there kind of showcases what's heading our way. From any other view, you can't really see it. But let's go over the starting grid for this one. Wayne Gottschalk on pole position is being joined by Mathis Brajot, both of them having a pretty decent day of racing. Daniela Verba and Vicente Capella on row number 2 as well, both of them not being outside the top 10. Another two that haven't finished outside the top 10 is the American Zane Burgess and Teo Palfren of Portugal. They will go from row number 3. Row 4 sees Achilles Peruzzi and Nicolo Perico. Yesterday's diamond out on track starts this race P8, but he did win that second qualifying heat earlier on. Ava Lawrence and Manuel Calenda go from row number 5. They'll be joined by Benjamin Karajkovic and Alessandro Salis on row number 6. Jan Gazielik and Rivan Preetham round out the top 14, and they go from row number 7. Daniel Hakkinen, he's had an up-and-down weekend for this one, but he starts this one on the 8th row of the grid, and he is joined by the Australian Jay Kostecki on row number 8. Bruno Miranda and Giovanni Desani Jr. round out row number 9, and they'll have the likes of Aaron Mason and Alba Cueva on row number 10, giving us our top 20. Row 11 sees Atika Mir and Rian Rashid rounding out the top 22. Then it'll be Ronald Ventnor and Stanislav Zarko on row 12. Samar Chopra and Lorenzo Zucchetto go from row 13. Then I have Ari Kallenberg and Brody Dowling, hopefully out there on row number 14. 28 runners. We didn't see Brody Dowling earlier on in one of the heats, so hopefully all is okay. And we see him out in this final. Lots to digest from that first final, but that will have to wait because we move swiftly on to, of course, the Mini 60s, who are primed and ready down there on the grid with Nicole Sutherland. Over to you.
These drivers are ready then, Anthony, and our pole sitter Win looks very ready. Qualified 13th earlier on today, but has got himself right to the sharpest end of this field. Win, fantastic racing from you so far. You've been incredibly quick. Every single race you've picked off those positions, and now you're starting from the front row. How are you feeling?
Really good.
And back in the awning then, what's been said to you to make sure that you're fast going into this race?
Really fast, just go up front and let's hope it'll be better than yesterday.
Well, hoping that for you as well, Win. Very best of luck. The 5-minute board had been showed to us shortly before we started interviewing Win. I'll head over to the other driver on the front row, which is Mathis Brageau. Mathis, we spoke yesterday. You're a driver from south of France. We mentioned that on the grid previously. You look like you're happy. You've got a smile on your face. Are you feeling good?
Yes. I mean, this race, this final, it's mine, so I want to go in the podium and the big one.
You think it's yours then, and how are you going to make sure that going into that first corner you come out in front of Win?
I want to go inside, but they are the line inside, so I'm going the more inside, and after we can look it was good or not.
Very best of luck to you then, Mathis. Let's keep it short and sweet for today's mini interviews on the grid. We'll head back up into the box, but good luck to our mini drivers.
Thank you very much, Nicole, down there on the grid. And yes, the race start looms ever closer. A look at the previous race winners. Of course, yesterday, Nicolo Perico, a perfect day for the young Italian. Took the qualifying heat wins, poled it, and of course, he took the win in the final. It was a solid day for him. Today hasn't been the same story for Nicolo Perico, however, but still a very good day nonetheless. Perico in his first race didn't even finish. It was right down the bottom. It was not the race he wanted. It was a very tough race for Perico indeed. But later on, qualifying Heat 2 would come back in a very strong position, taking the heat win. So a very strong performance for him in the race. So again, curious to see what he can do. And when he won that race, he started from P8, so he knows it's possible. For this man here, anything is possible. Daniela Verber on the second row of the grid. 2 P4 finishes earlier on. He would like to change that to a 3, a 2, maybe even a number 1 spot out there. It would certainly be delightful. And he's in what I consider the best starting position, because you're behind the pole sitter, you're on the inside line, you haven't got the stress of controlling the pace of the grid. All you've got to do is keep your nose on that rear bumper at the start of the race, and then when the lights go out, you send it down the inside. That's why I like third place.
Third's your favourite, is it?
Third's my favourite,
Okay.
yes, on the inside. Not second, not first, third. But there you go. But not on a podium. No, you want to be first on the podium. But there we go. That's one of those. We'll find out who's going to be on that top spot because, like you say, these drivers are primed and ready. You saw the yellow light flashing, indicating we've got about 20 seconds until that light starts flashing green. And then these carts get fired up and they go. And there it is, all bar one not going. And that one is our pole sitter. Yes, Win Gottschalk. His cart is not fired up. And he is, well, the Paralympic team will be immediately there. The Paralympic team, there's lots of mechanics there. They'll be able to assist him to get started. But I can imagine it just didn't want to go. Kick it into life, send it on its way. And hopefully he'll have the time to get back to the front. But remember, they only get the 1 formation lap today. This is going to be a tough one. Has our pole sitter just put himself at the back of the field at the start of this final? That would be disastrous.
Yeah, they've only got 1 lap to warm up, but of course, it's not a full lap to get into position. You need to be in position way before turn 17.
Yep, it will be in between turns 15 and 16. That small straight up the hill is where he'll want to get into position. And I'm just thinking, where is Win Godshock? I can tell you exactly where he is. He's sending it down the inside of as many drivers as he possibly can. He's on a full qualifying lap right now to get to the front. But your front runners have disappeared up the road. They are already at turns 12 and 13. They are thinking, right, we need to get a wiggle on here. We need to get to the red line quickly, and that way he won't get in front of us. It's tactical. It feels horrible, but it's quite a smart thing to do, actually, if you're a driver like that, because you've basically just gifted yourself an extra position. Oh, careful, Win. You passed the red line there, buddy. That's going to not go in your favour there. Oh, that's such a shame. And I can completely understand what he's done. He wants to get back in position, but he ran out of time to do it, and that might have not worked out in his favour. We're good to go racing, though, and we are going to go racing down in towards turn number 1. We'll talk, but Win Godshock holds on to the lead of this one then as he heads down in towards turn number 2. And this is going to be an almighty race, because I can imagine that the drivers behind will think, we don't need to race with Win on this one, because he's not going to get anything from this, I don't think, and that's going to be a challenge for him. But Brageau and Daniela Verba, they are all still there, closing in. There's Zane Burgess in 3rd place in the 8.20. He's looking very strong right now. They're in P3, but eyes are focused here. It's Godshock, Verba, Burgess, 1, 2, 3 right now as they break away, but that has changed, because that looks to me like that is that Vincente Capella who's got himself up into P3 now?
Yeah, I believe it is. Vincente Capella made the move on, I want to say Zane Burgess, but then Zane Burgess got it back and he's got himself now into P2. So he's lost a position and then made up 2 within about 2 corners.
I'd say that's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or no, the opposite way around. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 1 step back, 2 steps forward. There we go. That works out well. I'll get my words out at some point. But yeah, no, straight up into 2nd place. But a brilliant start for the field. So it's Godshock from Burgess, Verba from Lawrence, and already I'm seeing the 832 under investigation. That flag has come out. And I suspect that is going to be going his way. A little bit of exit curb there for Ava Lawrence in the treble 8. Ava Lawrence having a brilliant start here. 4 places gained for the young lady. She's there in P5.
She is. And then on your screen again, it's the front 2 of Win Godshock and Daniela Verba. There behind shortly, you can see a move attempted by, I believe it was Mathis Brageau, trying to get up further into this front pack. There was some yellow flags out there going into turn 8 and 9. We've had about 4 drivers who have had a spill, but again there on your screen, this front pack, but Win Godshock, it doesn't look like that incident that happened earlier on with not getting off the line has put him off, because he's looking very quick there. We've got our virtual championship on the board. Win currently leading with 138 points, and Nicolo Perico sits there in P2 with 99. Nicolo Perico, of course, had a DNF earlier on. We'll see where he is on the board. P8 currently, so he is about there with only 2 laps in. And then on your screen, yeah, that's about 4 karts just by turns 8 and 9. So that's what that yellow flag would have been for.
And I think that's involving Daniel Hakkinen, Brody Dowling, Atika Mir and Giovanni Dazzani Jr. Unfortunately, they have all tumbled down the order and are out of this race. That's a big shame.
Here we go then, Anthony Jordan. We've got Zane Burgess sitting in P2, the 8.20. Daniela Verba is leading the way, so they've both taken position from Win Godshock. Now Zane Burgess pushing the back of Daniela Verba, trying to have a look, seeing if he can go up the inside. From what we've seen from Zane Burgess this weekend, he takes no prisoners and he goes for absolutely every move and opportunity that he can.
Yeah, he certainly does. My other eyes are going to be focused
all over the rumble strip there.
Yeah, very close to the edge of the circuit there. My eyes are going to be focused quite quickly on the likes of Nicolo Perico. He's behind Ava Lawrence currently in P6. He did set the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap. He's lost that because that's gone to Jan Garzielek now. But the eyes are still on this. Burgess now to the lead. The USA on top here. And Wyn Gottschalk, I think, didn't manage to follow through actually on that one. He's dropped down a little bit here. But now it's Burgess from Verber. Halfrain is there in third place. Gottschalk is down in P4. Then it's Perico now in P5. Nicolo Perico in a really strong spot here. The final winner yesterday is now with this lead group. And a little bit of sandwiching going on there for Daniela Verber, getting a bit loose on the exit of turn number 8 and 9, but manages to control it on the exit. Perico trying to go for the move, but now it's Halfrain for the move.
Perico, the 802, absolutely wasting no time and up the inside there.
No, not at all. Straight down the inside at turn number 12 and 13. Brilliant piece of track positioning there to put it right where he wants it.
I tell you who Perico is pulling along now into the mix is the 888 of Ava Lawrence.
Yep, she's up into P4 now, is the young driver, is backed by the development program, of course.
Discover Your Drive, F1 Academy.
Indeed, she is backed by that, and she's there in P4 right now, pushing through. So Perico now in a really strong position here. P2 being that position. He's got the likes of Zane Burgess up ahead, and they are very close together. However, they're going to need that slipstream to pull that gap in because they're a little bit spread out for the time being. Verber still there. Ava Lawrence tucked in right behind, and they are pushing each other along very, very nicely. This is a stark difference to what we've seen earlier on in today's racing. But look at this now, Perico right on the rear bumper. Here's Ava Lawrence, and here is how she got up into that position. You can see she's right in behind the likes of Nicolo Perico, up there into third place, and follow that through nicely there.
Yeah, she almost said, go on then, Nico, you do the work, and I'll just follow you through.
I'll tag along for the ride.
Here we go then, and move into the first corner by Nicolo Perico on Zane Burgess. And look at Ava Lawrence, once again, just following Nico through. Zane, he's been caught out there. He's now just dropped from first to fifth within that first sector. Nicolo Perico leads the way. Ava Lawrence takes a quick look over her shoulder. She sits there in P2 looking very, very strong. Who is that there in P3, Anthony Jordan?
Daniela Verber at the moment in third place and is 3/10 down, but that certainly doesn't look like 3/10 to me. That looks like one big trade.
Ava!
I thought she was going for it there, Nicole, but no, she just thought against it, and yeah, I think smartly done. But now, Ava has followed Perico all the way throughout this. Now it's her turn to go for the move and see if anyone else follows her through down the inside. It's all at this point here. Perico, Lawrence, Verber. I will stress, we're only on lap 6 of 11. We've got a long way to go in this race still. And, well, again, using all the track and a little bit more here. These two are looking quick right now. Do you reckon they could break away from the chasing pack?
I really think they could. Ava Lawrence, she's gone under the radar a little bit this weekend, but her minimum speed through this race is just looking fantastic. The way she came out of that last corner, she was on that rumble strip. She's carrying loads of speed around this corner, which at a track like Portimão is really important. As I say that, though, I think she has been done. Yes, she has. There's Zane Burgess, goes up the inside. She's caught out the 888, needs to slot back in. Sat there in P2 now is Daniela Verber, and this has given Nicolo Perico a little bit of breathing room.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll keep a close eye on this battle as now she sends it back down the inside, back up into third place, and they try to get the switch over there. That's a lot of curb for Zane Burgess, and amazingly, they all managed to keep it on the straight and narrow there, but that was a very shaky moment. It looks a lot worse than it is when these minis hit a curb, because like I say, they're big curbs and they're smaller karts for the drivers. So, yeah, it looks a lot worse than it actually is. But Perico now has got a lead that we've not seen in Mini 60 so far this weekend, purely because the toe has been so powerful. I reckon he's going to be in a spot of bother here, especially with the three. If they need to really think about working together now. They can't start messing around and going for little moves here and there. They need to just dig deep and think, right, let's catch those drivers ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we know anything from Nicolo, the way he explains things, every time he approaches a lap, it's push, push, push. He never lets off, and he's definitely not going to be letting off in this race. There we go then on your screen. We're following round with this pack still of Zane Burgess. Zane leading the way of the two drivers behind. You've got the 8-2-8 of Daniela Verba looking behind him. Oh, it's getting a bit feisty in through turns 8 and 9. That's the 8-2-2 getting the move done. We've got a race replay then.
Yeah, we certainly have. And, oh dear, right at the back there. Oh dear, and a little bit more there. And that is not the way you want to do it at all. And that, unfortunately, for Wyn Godschalk, is not the way you exit a corner when you find yourself on top of another cart. But thankfully, back on all four wheels and still in this race. Eyes on this. Gap between the likes of everyone here. Perico leading by a second. Daniela Verba there in second place. Then you've got this battle here. Palfrain, Burgess, Brageau, Lawrence, all in this battle. Aaron Mason's still there as well. They're not getting the memo of we need to catch up to the drivers in front. They're all just decided to settle in and battle now for third place.
Yeah, it looks like they're having a little bit too much fun out there, and kind of forgotten about the kind of what they're trying to do, which should be catching Nicolo Perico and Daniela Verba for that P1 and P2 spot. Here they go then once again and move by the 8-3-2 through turns 8 and 9. Who have we got? We've got Ava Lawrence still on your screen. Zane Burgess chasing the 8-1-3 of Mattis Brageau. Mattis, of course, said he really thinks a podium is achievable for him this weekend. In the contention to get that done, there on your screen, a little picture there of Nicolo Perico, the 802, sat in first. Obviously, that DNF earlier on this weekend did not put him off one bit. He's come here to Portimão. He knew what the objective was to do, and currently he's smashing those targets.
He certainly is. Yesterday was a perfect day for him. Today, like you say, quite the opposite. And yeah, that DNF he had earlier on certainly just played havoc with his day, but he's not let it affect him too much, because like I say, he won in that second heat, and now he's done exactly the same as what he did earlier on. The only question that is on my mind right now is, well, actually, we're on lap 10 of 11. We've not got long left. The trailing group are now working together, I think, for the first time, but they've got a 1.4 second gap to close up in the space of, effectively, 1.5 laps. I don't think that's doable.
I don't. And Daniela Verba did have a bit of breathing room. Yeah, and now the 8-1-3 of Mattis Brageau has gone in on Daniela Verba. He's dropped back to fourth because Zane Burgess also took the opportunity to overtake. Daniela had previously, pulled away from this pack a little bit, but they've drawn him back in. It just shows how much time can be caught up in the toe, and it's all getting busy there, Anthony Jordan, as we head into the last lap.
We certainly are, and it's really going to kick off now, but it's going to kick off for second place because Nicolo Perico is 1.8 seconds clear from the rest, and this is all going to shape up to be quite a race. Wyn Godschalk going down the inside there at turn number 4, getting past Daniela Verba and gaining another place in this race. But Brageau is holding on to P2. Burgess is there in third place, but Godschalk in P4 is trying to fight for a podium here, but no, it's not going to happen. The two Americans are off the circuit. Godschalk and Burgess go no further in this race, and that's absolutely disastrous for them both. The two collide at turns 8 and 9 on the final lap of this race, and that is their chances broken. But Nicolo Perico, with one more corner to go, the Italian who won yesterday wins today in fine fashion. He sleeps across the line as he feels that's a job well done. Cleared by 2.9 seconds from Mattis Brageau. Aaron Mason in the end of that one sneaks up to third place. 16 places gained for Aaron Mason. But what a final that is. And that is a moment for many. Now, Nicolo Perico here will get to the end and will be, I'm sure, delighted with the results. I can see from the commentary box there has been an incident on the start-finish straight, but the cameras will stay on these drivers here. Now, a red flag has come out, so these drivers have been told to, there's no messing around, it's get back to the Parc Fermé area. And, of course, officials and medical teams on scene on the start-finish straight, but a very scary moment on that one. But the race results there on your screen. Nicolo Perico, Mathis Brajot, Aaron Mason, the top 3 at the end of Mini 60 final 2 here on Sunday's racing for the Champions of the Future Academy programme. There's a look at the rest of your results then on your screen. With the likes of everyone there, you see Jake Ostecki, great race there, 12 places gained. Teo Parfrain finishing in P5. Benjamin Krajkovic, Akilis Peruzzi, Daniela Verba, Lorenzo Zucchetto, Ari Kallenberg and Alessandro Salis. Jan Garzielik from Manuel Kalendi. Then it is Bruno Miranda from Rian Rashid, Rivan Preetham from Stanislav Zarko, Alba Cueva from Ronald Ventnor, Samar Chopra and Zane Burgess. Wyn Gottschalk, of course, involved in that incident, not able to get to the end of that lap. So a big shake-up there on the field. And there is Nicolo Perico. And for these drivers, for Mini 60, these drivers will now just think that's a job well done. Celebrations will happen down there in Parc Ferme, but still a tense moment for the drivers. Perico, though, delivering a brilliant, brilliant result there at the end. The driver of the 802 can now celebrate. Well, let's have a look at the highlights from that race. And there, Wyn Gottschalk, the pole sitter. Unfortunately, that engine didn't start up at the beginning of that. And unfortunately, he had to try and recover back through the order. But unfortunately, he just dropped back and tried to go for those overtakes past the red line. And I think he might get in a spot of bother for that afterwards. The race continuing, though, pretty solid drive all the way throughout the sharp of that one. We had movers going up thick and fast all the way throughout. Perico just slowly making his way through the field. Early stages, drivers out of the race right at the start. Giovanni Desani Jr., Tika Mir, Brody Dowling and Daniel Hakkinen are unfortunately not seeing the end of that race in the early stages. Perico, though, slowly making those moves up through the field. Certainly had a very strong race. And so did, of course, the likes of Gottschalk and Zane Burgess. That was just a very tough positioning for them right at the end of the race, where unfortunately it ended in contact. So a very, very dramatic race then all the way to the end. But eyes on this one, the racing wasn't over, because then you had Perico going for the lead. Ava Lawrence following through as well there in second place. And she had a great drive in the start of that final. A brilliant, brilliant show of skill. Burgess back down the inside, though, in those later stages. And it all went pitong on that final lap of the race. And you can just imagine here, all these drivers just thinking, what can we do to try and catch up to Perico and Brajot up ahead? The answer to that was there was nothing we could do. They were fighting, they were battling, and the leaders were just breaking away. And at the end of that one, Nicolo Perico taking the win by 2.9 seconds from the rest of the field. There would be a moment, though, like I say, later on, this battle would heat up tremendously between these two. There you could see the first move down the inside, the 813 trying to gain it. Mathis Brajot coming back in those early stages. Then you saw the likes of, like you say, them all coming in, Wyn Gottschalk and Zane Burgess. That was the biggest moment on that last lap. But you can see here the two were just locked in battle for the majority of that one. It was on the final lap here where it all went wrong. Here in towards turn 8, and bang, just straight off the track there. The two colliding by themselves and out of their final on that last lap. There across the line, though, Nicolo Perico taking the win, sleeps across the line, delighted with the result there. And I'm sure we'll celebrate in a few moments' time on that podium. Well, the track falls silent for a small amount of time. There is a look at the driver standings at the end of the first round then for Mini 60. Nicolo Perico claiming the lead of that one with 135. Matis Brajot from Win Gottschalk, Achilles Peruzzi from Benjamin Karajkovic, Jay Kostecki from Tio Palfrane, Jan Garzielek and Daniela Verber. Aaron Mason rounding out the top 10 in the standings, but that, of course, is only one round. There are, of course, many, many more to go. 5 more rounds of the championship left for our drivers here. And imagine it's going to be a tense time when we head to Valencia next. But, of course, a small break in proceedings. And, of course, these drivers will be getting themselves sorted out and ready. OKN senior category coming up next. But of course, between now and then, we'll be heading down to Nicole Sutherland, who is out there. She'll be chatting to some of our drivers. And then, of course, we'll be heading to the podium for our drivers in the top 3 in that category. A fabulous end to their racing, but certainly a very tough race indeed for many of them. But the marshals there doing a brilliant job on the circuit, making sure the track stays nice and clear. But everything will be happening, as you can see, still dealing with the incident that is on the start-finish straight. And we do hope that all the drivers involved there are okay. And yes, we do wish them the very best. And hopefully we see them out very, very soon. Like we say, podium's coming up very, very soon for Mini 60, but there is one more race to go. Senior OKN will be coming up next. That's going to be the ultimate fight with Marcus Shilkunas and Wojciech Woda on the front row of the grid for that one. It's going to be a very exciting final, but I'm curious to see how the rest get on, because you've got Chiara Batig, Martin Menezes, they're all there on those front rows, but we'll find out a little bit later on. Let's head down to Nicole Sutherland, who is in Parc Ferme.
Thank you very much then, Anthony. I'm with our mini drivers who are P1 to 3 in both the under-10s and the overs. We've got Nicolo Perico, who of course is our race winner. Nicolo, a win yesterday, a win today, despite a bit of bad luck in one of your heats. Tell me how happy you are.
Yeah, and the qualifying was not really good while we do P8. But then in the first heat, someone pushed me off. Not really, but yeah. Someone pushed me off, I did DNF. So the second heat, I start at P8. Then I win. And now the final, I win.
And you were pushing throughout that race. You know, you didn't waste any time making those overtakes. Were there any overtakes out there that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, so happy and yeah.
Okay, Nicolo. We've got Matis Brajot. Matis, when I was talking to you on the grid, you said you could definitely get yourself onto the podium. You've done just that. How do you feel?
It was one good performance. I have 2, so I'm really happy to in podium. But I'm so sorry for the crash at Ava. So I'm sorry for she. So, but I'm happy for me.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that Ava is okay. You know, it's not what we like to see out there, but the racing was great. There was a lot going on that last lap. You had a great last lap. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened?
In the last lap, it was one best lap at my life, because we overtake, we push, we close the door, so it was one special last lap.
Okay then, Matis, and of course this is only the first weekend of the championship. We've got a lot more to go. We'll be going to Valencia in Spain, we've got Hungary on the calendar, we go out to the UAE at the end of the year, but going into Spain then, Valencia, I think in April. How are you feeling? You reckon you can get on the podium again?
I mean, yes, but I'm confident because I know this track. Yes, but yeah, it was Valencia. I drive all the years, so yeah, I know this track really good. So I want to go in the podium for Valencia.
Great to hear from you, Mattis, and looking forward to you lifting that trophy on the podium in just a moment's time. We've got more of our mini drivers behind me who will be joining Mattis to collect their trophies, one of which, is it Aaron?
Yeah.
Aaron, great weekend worth of racing then. Have you enjoyed being here in Portimão?
Yes, I have enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I've got podium overseas, and yeah, it was a hard race from 19th. It was a very big push for me, and unfortunately for Ava, her crash with the guy in front of me, but yeah, it is what it is.
Well, Mattis has just said the same thing. You know, all of you drivers are friends and you're all hoping that Ava is going to be okay. You know, the whole team, you know, is wishing Ava the very best. Anthony is ready then to see you on the podium very shortly. Aaron, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nicole Sutherland. Yes, indeed. We will start with our Mini Under 10 category for the Mini 60, and it starts with third place. Finishing the race in P19, 4 places gained. Please welcome onto the podium, Ronald Ventnor. In second position, please welcome Bruno Miranda. And your winner in the Mini Under 10 category, it's Benjamin Karajkovic. Well, a huge congratulations to the top 3 in the Mini 60 Under 10s. We'd now like to welcome Marco Parolin to present the winners' medals to the top 3. Of course, starting with third place at the 818, Ronald Ventnor. A brilliant end for Ronald Ventnor. 4 places gained in the end of that race. We now present the second place medal to Bruno Miranda. Bruno at the end of that one, finishing the race in P14, a gain of 3 positions. And finally, your race winner in the Mini Under 10 category, Benjamin Karajkovic. A brilliant end for his race as well. 6th place and a gain of 5 places. Well, drivers, nice big smiles for the photographers out there. And then if we get everyone on the top step, getting nice and close. So if we get all 3 of you on the number 1 step there, and lift those medals up. There we go. Squeeze in nice and tight. Perfect stuff. There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one big round of applause, please, for your Mini 60 Under 10s. Well, a fabulous end for them. We will now move over to the Mini 60 category with our overall top 3 drivers after that race, and finishing in third position with a gain of 16 places, representing the United Arab Emirates, it's Aaron Mason. In second position for France, it's Mathis Brageau. And your race winner from the final yesterday to the final today, it's Italy's Niccolò Perico. A sublime drive after gaining 7 places. Niccolò Perico deserves those 2 final wins. We will now listen to the national anthem of Italy.
big round of applause for your top three in Mini 60 here at the first round in Portimão. We would now like to welcome back onto the podium as well Marco Parolin to present the winners' trophies, and firstly heading to third place, Aaron Mason. Again, a superb drive for Aaron Mason, 16 places gained. Second position for Mathis Brageau. A solid race for Mathis Brageau, second in the race and finishing in P2 as well. And finally, your race winner for 2 finals in a row, it's Nicolo Perico. Well, drivers, lift those trophies high up in the air for us. Nice big smiles after a very dramatic day of racing. And finally, would like to ask all three of you to jump up on the top step of that podium. Squeeze in nice and close for one last group photo here in Portimão in Portugal. A brilliant end to their racing as we head to Valencia for the second round and maybe another new top 3. But once again, big round of applause for your top 3 in Mini 60. Well, the racing is not over yet. One more to go because OKN Senior is coming up next.
Well, one more race to go then for the Champions of the Future Academy program. OKN Senior is coming up next. 17 laps, 26-kilometer race distance. As once more, the clouds seem to hold off here at the Portimão circuit. They've decided we don't want to rain on anyone's parade here, quite literally speaking, because like we say, seniors will be walking out onto the track very, very soon. A little closer look, though, at the class itself. OKN Senior drivers aged between 14 and 18 years of age, running on the Kart Republic KR2 chassis, powered by the IAMI 125 CC2 stroke engine. Of course, this one unrestricted, outputting 35 brake horsepower, but still revving to the same 15,000 RPM. Minimum weight, though, is more, 150 kilos. That is kart and driver included. Any gram underneath that in a spot of bother. Tyres, the medium compound for the Vegas, the XM4s being used this time for the OKN Senior category. And of course, the allocation still the same, 1 dry set per day. And they will have used that through the course of time qualifying, the qualifying heats, and of course now this final coming up very, very soon. There you can see the field lined up, ready to go on the pre-grid, on the dummy grid I should say. They will head out onto the grid itself in a few moments' time. There's our grid officer, Robert Ruiz. Down there as the music starts, the drivers will head out onto the circuit now, and you can see they are being led by Markus Schilkunis and Wojciech Voda on that front row. And again, for them, a brilliant show all the way throughout today's racing. They have delivered some solid results throughout that. And while we wait for that, let's go over that full starting lineup. Markus Schilkunis and Wojciech Voda on that front row of the grid. Chiara Batig, brilliant day for Chiara, brilliant results as well. Dominating very strongly and taking a race win in that second one. We'll have Martin Menezes alongside. Oscar Gallen, much better qualifying today from yesterday. We'll have Georgi Zazov for company on the third row of the grid. Marlon Bayer was on the podium yesterday. Can he do that again today? He'll have Louis come in for company alongside. George Nassar suffered from a bit of an accident earlier on today. Thankfully, he's okay and he's back in this race. Gabe Sixera, yesterday's pole sitter, starts this one on the fifth row of the field. William Marshall and Rafael Boulard, they start on row number 6. They will have the likes of Sara Matsui of Japan and Sinja Ornball of Denmark on row number 7. Radek Vavra from Czechia and Carolina Redondo of Spain round out the top 16 on row number 8. They will have Sebastian Korpeng and Klara Kowalczyk, both of them who have suffered this weekend, but still are strong to race in this final, which is good to see. Marcus Juncher and Gianna Pascal go from row number 10. They round out the top 20. They'll be joined by Guido Badoli and Isa Shabi on row number 11. Emmanuel Corona and Pietro Camarengo round out row number 12. They'll have Benjamin Borge, Iremia and Ella Hakkinen going from row number 13. Matilda Itzkovic and Hawk White round out the top 28. They go from row 14. They'll have Anastasia Gerasis and Magana Lucia on row 15. Omar Jorge and Oscar Jamil go from row 16. And the 34 cart field will be rounded out by Ryan Cairuz and Dylan Patel. However, Dylan Patel not, I believe, taking part in this race. We've not seen him out in the last couple of races. So it is hard to see if he's out in this final. Well, there are the drivers then at the front. They're all lined up, ready to go. Got to say, the cloud's been covered now by cloud. However, those clouds have dispersed a little bit and have not affected us too much, apart from taking away the sunshine. There is a look at previous race winners. Of course, yesterday, Markus Schilkunas taking a very dominant performance and finds himself once again starting this one on pole position. Won that his first race and then a third place in his second race. So he's had very good results. But let's head down to Parc Fermé, who will maybe be able to tell us a little bit more. Nicole, over to you.
On the grid then for the final time this weekend here in Portimão, I'm joined by Wojciech Wojda, who will be starting on the front row of the grid. Wojciech, great day today for you. One more opportunity to show us what you're made of. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling nice. Let's see how the final goes. Will be a great day when I finish the final on top, and yeah, we'll see.
Fighting talk then, you sound like, you know you can do it. That P1 is very close. You know, one more race and you could be on that top step of the podium. But tell me, Wojciech, you know, the first corner, you're going down there so fast. How do you approach turn 1 to make sure that you get a good track position for the rest of the race?
Try to not lose any positions, maybe gain positions, and I don't know what to say, to be honest. I just, as before, to be honest. The starts were good today, so yeah, let's try to make it maybe even better, and yeah, let's see. The race is long, so yeah, we'll see.
And as we've been stood here talking, you know, the wind is picking up. The clouds, you know, they've gone over the sun. In the background, there is a bit of a grey sky. Are you hoping for a bit of rain, or would you like it to stay dry?
To be honest, it could stay dry. It's all right.
Well, great to hear from you then. We're going to head over to Markus Schilkunas, who is starting on the front row of a grid. We've got a little bit more time. The 3-minute board is only just going. Markus, you've had a great weekend so far, P1 yesterday. Do you think you can do the same again today?
Yeah, I had the speed, and I'm ready.
You're ready indeed. Let's head up then into the box as we head off for the final time for the senior OKN category.
Thank you very much, Nicole. I've got to say, that blue sky that we saw behind you in the last time we were seeing that one has vanished, and there was a big grey cloud above your head, but thankfully it's held off for now. Here's a look at the driver standings currently. Schilkunas at the top of that one, ahead of Marlon Bayer, Wojciech Wojda, and Gary Teixeira rounding out those ones there. Very, very close in the standings, of course, but Schilkunas has got that benefit. He claimed the extra 25 championship points from yesterday, adding on to the 75 that he won yesterday, giving him the total of 100. And like you say, Bayer Wojda is there very closely following behind in those points. Like you say, it's only the first round, and plenty could happen in this race. It's still all to play for. It is the longest race of the weekend as well. 17 laps is this race, and that man there, Markus Schilkunas, is in the best possible spot here to get a good getaway. He didn't have pole over the 2 days. However, in the qualifying heats, he always delivered and finds himself on pole once more in this final. There's Robert Rees on the track, and he's holding up the 1 minute to go board. We are very, very close of getting this one started as, like you say, the rain holding off for the time being, but the dark clouds looming over in the horizon. Nicole Sutherland joining me back in the commentary box. You had a better view of the clouds around there. How is it looking?
Above the start-finish straight, very, very dark.
Yes, I did notice that one above your head when we were
Yeah, I think
down
Ella Hakkinen said a comment to Martin Bean about the rain, and Martin said, don't say that.
Well, it's too late. Ella can't say it. We've said it about 1 million times already today, and I think we've jinxed it already quite far in advance. There is a look at some of those clouds, but it's not dampened the spirit of the crowd. They are still out on the gantry in force, watching all the racing that we have seen so far this weekend. Certainly a very dramatic set of finals that we have seen all the way to the end. But this one falls down to these front runners here because, well, you've got the likes, like you say, Shilkunas, Wojciech Woda, Chiara Batig, all there, Martin Menezes. They've all been up the sharp end many, many times so far this weekend, Nicole, and it's really tough to see who's going to win this one. I can't put it on anyone.
No, me neither. I think between Marcus, Wojciech and Chiara, they've both been very, very strong in their own ways as well.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, a lot of drivers saying that, I kind of really want it to rain because they prefer driving this track in the wet. That's because they did a lot of practice in the wet over the course of the free practice days. But today, no such thing is happening. It's been a lovely, dry, sunny day here in the Algarve. That's, I think, the first time I've ever said that.
I got told that every time you come here, Anthony, it rains.
It does. But every time I come here for karting, it rains. If I come here for the car track, it's sunny. So work that one out. Right, let's see these drivers pushing themselves go through, and all these drivers are working very strong right now, delivering some good results over the course of the day. But let's see what happens in this final. But all these drivers now just trying to get some temperature into the tyres in this early phase. No dramas with starting the karts. All of them getting off the line very strong and very well. Nicole, we talk a lot about tyres. These ones now, we're on the XM tyres. So these are the softer of the two compounds between the juniors and the seniors. They're on the XM versus the XH.
Vega Greens.
Vega Greens.
Yes.
Are they different to what I've been told?
Oh, it depends on what you've been told.
Probably false information then by the looks of your face.
So for the senior, they'll be the hardest tyre.
Okay.
This is the fastest speeds.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. I've been told porky pies then.
Or maybe I've been.
I don't know. Oh. Someone's lied to one of us, Nicole. But
we'll find out. I'm going to do my homework afterwards and just double check.
We'll get to the bottom of this. But yes, all the meanwhile, though, they should be okay then.
Either way, they're going to be very grippy tyres.
Yes, either way, they've got plenty of waft out there. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Right, we're heading to the line now. No overtaking permitted. We saw some dramas with this earlier on. This time around, I think it's looking fine. The back of the field just getting into formation. We go live on board with Martin Menezes, who starts this one on the second row of the grid on the outside of row 2. And there you can see all nice and bunched up now in the sunshine still here at Portimão. Into the tram lines. Are we going first time? The answer to that is yes, and it's a good start from the inside row as always. But where is Wojciech Woda going to try and slot into? I think the best he can do is third place, but there crucially at the front is Marcus Shilkunas, who's brought Chiara Batig for company there. But they are line astern now, heading down the hill, and they've already, here, Nicole, they've opened up a little bit of a breathing gap.
They absolutely have, and it looked like Marlon Bayer had a great start there. I think he's sitting in about 5th position, looking down the inside, not just yet for a position to make up into 4th. But Marcus Shilkunas and Chiara Batig, I just watched them over the line. That reactions they both had as soon as the lights went out, they were both straight on it, straight into position. There, Marcus Shilkunas continues to lead the way. Up the hill they go. Chiara Batig, nice and late on the brakes to when she was in turn 5, which means she keeps those revs up, went back up the hill, got a nice rhythm through the final bits of this lap. There they go then for the first time in this race over the start-finish line, racing through turn 1, nice and fast. Like we've been saying, it's such a quick sector of this circuit. Very, very, very fast track Portimão is.
Yes, it certainly is. 1.5 kilometre in total race distance. Like I say, the average 95 kilometres an hour around a lap. Very, very close. Big send down the inside there in the background. That is a thank you very much, says the 217 of Pietro Camerlengo, as they've been battling away pretty nicely down there. Now, Martin Menezes has not had a good start in this race. From the second row of the grid, he has tumbled down quite significantly. He's running around in 16th place at the moment, which is why we're seeing Camerlengo fight his way through, who's in his turn up 7 positions in this race. Eyes on this one, though. 3-car battle now starting to kick off. Wojciech Woda is closing in on the 2 in front, but Chiara Batik is not dropping off the back of Marcus Schilkunis. That slipstream is keeping this race nice and close.
Yeah, absolutely. And Schilkunis just looks like he's tightening things up ever so slightly, looking over his shoulder now and again just to gauge where Chiara Batik is. And as you saw just then on your screens, all over those rumble strips, we've got Schilkunis out leading the front. He is the fastest driver out there with a 58.785. Of course, he's in his own air, so he can push, you know, without being afraid of going into the back of anyone, which of course in the earlier stages of a race is a problem for drivers.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now on lap 3 of 17. Still a long way to go in this race. Oh, it's starting to see those little moments there for Chiara Batik, and there was another one. And through goes Wojciech Woda, just invited to the inside line there. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because that corner seems to be her Achilles heel over the course of this weekend. She had the moment in the final yesterday at that corner. Once again there, and now I think she's got she's got the toe now of Wojciech Woda. You would think now, okay, let's just try and settle down a bit, get into the rhythm, tuck in, see if we can close in on Schilkunis, because at this moment that gap now is up to 0.6 of a second. And these two really need to use that slipstream to their advantage. Now, Gabriela Teixeira has got the fastest lap of the race. She is currently circulating a little further down the order, I believe, in P7. But she is still in a good position right there. She's got Marlon Bayer for company, and as well as George Nassar just behind. But eyes at this moment focus on this battle for 2nd and 3rd place. And like you say, Wojciech Woda just now trying to dig deep, has closed in that gap just fractionally on Schilkunis. That 2nd sector a little bit faster here and there, was faster in sector 1 at the last lap, but eyes focusing behind Marlon Bayer and Teixeira. Purple sectors coming in from the drivers behind, and they're closing in behind because they're side by side in towards turn 1 there.
It does look like Chiara Batik and Wojciech Woda had sacrificed a little bit of speed to the driver in front, which is of course Marco Schilkunis, but there they are on your screen, still pushing each other, probably trying to use each other to get up behind. Oh, as I say it, jinx myself, because Chiara Batik goes up the inside and signals, let's push, let's go and get Marcus.
Well, let's see if the pace is there for these two drivers, because like you say, the gap 0.7 of a second. There's a big send down the inside there from Oscar Gallon on the likes of, I think, Louis come in behind, but they have just swapped positions back again. A bit too late under braking there, so the battles behind are starting to close in here because, yeah, you can see it there, Oscar Gallon right on that rear bumper now of Wojciech Woda is only a couple of tenths behind. Could we see here, could they throw a bit of a spanner in the works for these drivers? Here's a replay at the start. Look at that, 3 wide on the exit of turn number 9. Risky as you'd like there, Nicole.
Yeah, this track's only 8 metres wide, so to have 3 going abreast in that corner, you know, okay, guys.
pretty dicey, I would say, through that, but they seem to have made it work for them still. There's a look at the Virtual Championship, and well, I say Marcus Schilkunis is on a winning streak here, 150 championship points to him. He will end this first round if it stays like this, clear by 49 championship points from 2nd place, and already, that's a huge, huge advantage, even at the end of the first weekend, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year just narrowly missed out to Luna Flusha, so I think Marcus has come here this weekend and thought, you know, this year it's my turn.
Yeah, I say he's coming with fire in his belly and just think, I'm winning absolutely everything this season, and I don't doubt him at all. From what we've seen so far this weekend, I think that's impeccably doable, but there is a long way to go in this season. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But Shilkuna still leads the way, 0.6 of a second from Chiara Batig, who is breaking away from Wojciech Woda now. So Wojciech Woda's pace has just dipped off a little bit.
Yeah, although on my timing screens, Anthony, it does say that he's lapping 1/10 faster than the two drivers in front of him. So sometimes it can be a little bit deceiving, and drivers as well, when they're taking slightly tighter or wider lines, it can look like they've backed off slightly.
Yeah, that happens a lot with my commentary. I always say, oh, he's lost so much time. Oh, wait, no, hold on, he's just at the fastest lap of the race. What's going on here? But yeah, no, it does happen quite often. But yeah, visually now, it looks like it's right on the rear bumper again, and Wojciech Woda could actually go on the attack here for second place if that slipstream becomes available, which I suspect right now it will, because it's right on the rear bumper. Chiara Batig is not going to go defensive. Wojciech Woda is going to look to the inside, side by side, through at turn 2. Textbook overtake.
I'd say Wojciech Woda was setting that up all the way from turn 12. It just looked like he braked so late so he could pick up the apex, but in the exact same place, just faster. You know, he got that load going on the kart so that it could rev up the hill, nice and smooth on the wheel, released it in a straight line so that he could, you know, not sacrifice any revs. And he got such a good rhythm going through that last sector to then do Chiara Batig through the first sector of the following lap.
Yeah, indeed. Well, lap 8 of 17 now, and eyes will stay focused on this one. Oscar Gallin there in P4 missed out big time yesterday after crashing out in qualifying. Now is looking at a potential podium here in the final. That is a stark difference. And do you think for Oscar Gallin, knowing that he had those bad results yesterday, thinking that his dander will be up for this one, he'll want this third place?
Yeah, absolutely. We've said this kind of phrase time and time again, but about Chiara Batig, that fire in your belly. I think Oscar is probably feeling that as well. Yeah,
certainly so. Eyes on this one. There is the gap between Wojciech Woda and Marcus Shilkunas. It has increased here, 0.9 of a second. Sector 1 of that last lap, yeah, Shilkunas was faster by 0.05 of a second from these three behind. However, it's still a long racing game that they're playing right here, right now. But eyes will be retaining on these top drivers. Looking further back, big movers. Klara Kowalczyk actually is impressing me a little on this one. 6 places gain. Well, we're thinking today it would be a calm day for her after the accident she had yesterday. She came away with an injury. She got seen by the doctor, was okayed, cleared to race and everything like that. And it just shows that, yeah, right call, because she's been smashing it today.
Yeah, we just had some weekend results pop up on our screen then as well. And something we've got to say about Wojciech Woda is he's a man of consistency.
Yep.
Second. Is it going to be a second again right now?
For him, he definitely doesn't want another second. He'd like to change that to a 1. But yeah, that's easier said than done. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. There it goes. But these drivers, yeah, it's just kind of digging deep. But looking at the gap, it's fluctuating in such a way that, yeah, it doesn't look hopeful for Wojciech Woda. His pace is brilliant. It's right there, but it's matching Shilkunas' pace. It's not bettering it. You need to be faster at this one. And it's not there right now. We are watching now that battle. Chiara Batig, though, that pace is there for her. She is matching the pace of Wojciech Woda. She is still there. She's got the toe and everything like that. But she is now starting to think about Oscar Gallin behind. You know, you're in that do I attack or do I defend mode.
I think, you know, as a driver, you're always looking forward. It's only on the last couple of laps where you start maybe worrying about what's behind you. If you get too caught up about what's going on behind you, you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Biggest movers further down, we've already talked about that one. and crucially, having a pretty good race here. Everyone still circulating of the 33. I'll knock on wood. Commentator's curse, usually one of the things that usually comes out. But overtakes coming in thick and fast. Oscar Hamil has got himself up into 25th place as well. Isa Shabi is up into 27th place. Anastasia Gerasis is out on track. Good to see. She was involved in an incident earlier on today, but she is running around quite nicely and now up into 32nd place. And also there was overtakes, I think, Senior Ornball as well, battling away, but she's just lost out because Klara Kowalczyk's on the charge now, is inside the top 10.
Yeah, talking of Klara Kowalczyk, I think she is the biggest mover in this race. And of course, yesterday had to miss out a little bit, had a big crash and a bit of a hand injury, but managed to get out for yesterday's final. Today, however, though, she's having a much stronger result. It's now sitting within the top 10.
Yep, certainly so. Eyes on here, though. Chiara Battiga always looks like she's just trying to go for a move down the inside into some of these corners, but then, like you say, just gently lifts off the power at the moment to just, I think, conserve everything. I think it's sussing out where's going to be the best place to do it on Wojciech Woda.
You know, I wouldn't be telling her how to do it, but I think Chiara needs to trust the grip that's there, trust these tyres, and really just have a look. Be nice and late and hard on the brakes. You know, we saw it earlier on from some of our junior drivers at the front. I think it could have been Didier Krief did a huge move and just trusted the grip that's out there, because it is there and you can find it.
Yeah, it certainly is, and there's been plenty of grip gone down today, because of course it was a green track this morning, it was damp, it was wet. They cleared that out very quickly. It's been dry running throughout the day. It's the most rubber they've probably had down on the circuit since the first day of free practice that they did in the sunshine. Since then, all the way throughout, there's been torrid weather conditions, but today I was really hopeful that we'd get conditions like this, because looking at the weather forecast throughout it, it just said it was going to be rain all today, and we've just not seen that. And you know what? I'm really glad we've seen some proper dry racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the dry as well, it highlights more the elevation change and kind of the way the track is a bit of a roller coaster for these drivers. It goes up and down, and to me, you can just see that a little bit more in these dry conditions.
Yeah, I think you see this. Oh dear, that's not gone well at all. And out of the race is the 205 and the 233. That is Georgi Zazov and Guido Badoli. And here is how it unfolded. Well, there's the 205 just going down the inside. Guido Badoli, oh, and they've just locked wheels. They just clipped wheels, and from that, when the rubber of a tyre touches another, it just pings it up in the air, and around you go. We've seen replays from previous events of, you know, rims hitting rims. That's okay, but it's when the tyre makes contact with another tyre, that's where that happens.
Yep. Here we go then, still 4 laps left on the board, and Markus Schilkunis, it doesn't look like these guys behind him are getting any closer. He still continues to lead now by 1.14 seconds, goes over the start-finish line. As I say it, commentator's curse, we lose a little bit of time to Wojciech Woda, but still a very strong lead from Markus. Have we got any lap time changes? No, so nobody's gone any faster in that lap than the time set by Gabi Texera previously. She's still got the fastest lap of this race with a 58.112. We've got a replay there on our board for the 216. So it looks like, what is going on there, Anthony?
Well, that looked to me like it was probably a mechanical problem at the start, and then it got going, and I think she was quite happy that engine fired up and got going. You saw the double arm fist pump there as they went going. Now, Guido Badoli under investigation. I can imagine that's for the replay that we just saw a few laps ago down at turn 12, at that incident causing the retirement for both himself and Georgi Zazov. Another retirement as well, Benjamin Borg Irmia as well is another retirement as we go on board with Martin Menezes round the final corner, showcasing the speed here down the start-finish straight, showcasing the toe here down the start-finish straight. Look at that, closing in nicely there is Gianna Pascal. Not close enough for the overtake though, but certainly that slipstream, that angle really just showcases how much of a benefit you've got with someone in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely does. I almost wished every car out there had those onboard cameras, because I love watching it.
I don't think Oleg, our cameraman, would appreciate having to try and fit 36 onboard cameras on and off cards all the way throughout today. plus the batteries. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting one there. Now, Shilkunas' gap, still 9/10 of a second. I think he's bringing it back now. Do you reckon there's some coasting going on here just to make sure he definitely makes it to the end in a comfortable situation? 1 lap to go, doesn't need to push it. Even though I say that, the gap's gone back over a second. So there you go, that shows how much I know.
To be honest, Anthony, you'd always expect that at some point he would be slightly faster than the pack behind, because he's the driver that's hitting a cold track.
Yeah.
You know, drivers behind are hitting that rubber that is warmer. You'd expect that kind of as you go down the order, it becomes a bit easier for the drivers, especially in conditions like these, you know, where it's not too cold but also not too warm. But I wouldn't say Marcus is backing off. He's going to be aware. All he needs to kind of do now is finish. We're coming towards the last lap. He's getting closer.
No, we're on the last lap.
Oh, we're on the last lap. Sorry, last lap. We're on the last lap. You know, he's just going to be concentrated now. No mistakes.
Exactly that. And just 2 more corners to go for Marcus Shilkunas, looking for an absolutely solid point-scoring weekend here in Portimão, and he takes it. Lithuania on top with Marcus Shilkunas. Well, what a drive it is. Wojciech Woda secures a 2nd place finish ahead of Chiara Batig. A podium finish in the first round for Chiara Batig is still a very strong performance. But what a drive for Marcus Shilkunas. All the way throughout this weekend, has delivered and certainly can be a favourite heading into Valencia. And if you cast your mind back to last year, Valencia was the first track that Marcus Shilkunas won a final on. So certainly that's a good sign for things for this year, to see if we can keep that trend up. But there they will make their way back to Parc Ferme. As you can imagine, there'll be some delightment. For others, I can imagine there'll be talks about how they can improve the next time they're out. Marcus Shilkunas, Wojciech Woda and Chiara Batig are your 1, 2, 3 in OKN Senior on Sunday's final. A superb drive for the top 3. Oscar Gallin can celebrate there. A 4th place is not the end of the world. Despite that terrible qualifying yesterday, has delivered a very strong result today with that P4. Gary Teixeira, Pole City yesterday, finishing the final in P5, a very strong positioning from George Nassar and Louis Comun. Then it's Marlon Bayer from William Marshall, Clara Kowalczyk from Martin Menezes. They round out the top 11 out on circuit. Gianna Pascal and Sinja Ornball rounding out the top 13. Sebastian Corpen, great to see him back out. His suit took a big dent earlier on in an incident on the start-finish straight, but great to see that he's all okay. And a good race for him as well, inside that top 15, 3 places gained. Rafael Bouliard and Sara Matsoi running out the top 16 from Carolina Redondo, Radek Vavra, Hawk White and El Hakkinen, who round out the top 20. Here's a look then at the highlights from that race. You can see straight away Marcus Shilkunas sweeping across the track to defend from Wojciech Woda. Woda slotting into 2nd place, and you can see this on the onboard looking backwards of how different those racing lines were going to be. And Martin Menezes, yeah, it had no start there at all. Tumbled down the order. The door was wide open there, and everyone was sailing through, and there you can see more going through on the start-finish straight down towards turn 1. Gianna Pascal just sending it through. I mean, it did recover in that one. Martin Menezes recovered back to 11th place, but after starting P4, that is not the results he would have wanted, and many views, good views. This moment here, 3 wide on the exit. That just gave him a bit of breathing space there to kind of get settled in. There was the change for 2nd place. Wojciech Woda setting it down the inside. Later on, though, they would see that recovery drive. Chiara Batig back down the inside through turn number 5. And later on, would lose out on that position again. Wojciech Woda would send it back through. But again, the 2 of them just locked in a battle. William Marshall sending the moves down the inside later on in the race. That was getting past Sinja Ornball, driver from Denmark, just dropping down at the last stages of that race, but still gaining 1 position to finish in P13. This was the unfortunate moment. Guido Badali down the inside and just clipping the inside there of Georgi Zazov, and both of them out of the race. And you can imagine frustration from Georgi Zazov there, just thinking, what on earth happened there? But this man here, he knows exactly what's happened. That's a perfect scoring weekend for Marcus Šilkūnas. 150 championship points heading his way at the start of the first round. 5 more rounds to go, both of them, all of them with 2-point scoring opportunities. But there are your top 10 in the standing. Šilkūnas from Voda, Teixeira from Bayer, Kariopatig there in P5 from Senior Onbol, Louis Camon from Oscar Galling, Guido Badoli and George Nassar rounding out the top 10. But there, you can imagine, looking a little bit tired after that race. It is a long old race, and probably the longest one they've had. It was a bit more of a workout yesterday in the wet conditions, of course. But today, dry conditions all the way throughout. And Marcus Šilkūnas, can imagine, smile on the face. But there it is. There's the smile on the face. He knows he's done good. That's a solid weekend of racing for him. But like you say, not over yet. So many races to go in this season. It's only the first round of 6, and it's still a long, long season to go. And of course, we will get word from Marcus Šilkūnas very, very soon with Nicole Sutherland down there. And of course, the podium presentations coming up a little bit later as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. But for racing on circuit, that is it this weekend. It's all done for all the drivers. We will see them back out on track for the Champions of the Future Academy program in Valencia in a few weeks' time. Back at the Lucas Guerrero circuit in Spain. Very much looking forward to that one. Certainly a circuit that delivers some close racing. But let's head down to Parc Fermé. Nicole Sutherland, over to you.
Thank you, Anthony. 2 out of 2 then for Marcus Šilkūnas. Marcus, great driving out there. You know, you left the field, you were gone. It must be a great feeling.
Yeah, to absolutely dominate this weekend is a great feeling, and I'm really happy. We test here a bit for this race and in European, so yeah, I'm ready also for European.
And of course, this weekend, this is the second win that you'll be celebrating. You know, 2 out of 2. How are you going to celebrate? Do you know?
Now we will go to Campillos to test, so I will celebrate there with my team, BDK.
With more laps?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Congratulations. It's been great to speak to you this weekend. We've got our other 2 podium finishers who have just sped off slightly in front of me, Chiara Batig and Wojciech Woda. Chiara, yesterday ended in a bit of heartbreak for you. You looked like you could have got a podium and it just didn't quite work. But today, you've done it. You'll be joining the other 2 up on those steps. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Wojciech, great results, you know, very fast. Podium is about points. We're very early on in this championship. Are you happy with the result?
Quite happy, to be honest. Maybe if I wouldn't fight at the beginning with Chiara, maybe it would be better. But yeah, the pace was same, so it was difficult to catch. But it's all right. It's all right.
And of course, that battle between you and Chiara, you know, you were stuck behind her at some points and then she was stuck behind you. At any point, were you thinking, you know, this is over, we can't catch Marcus, or were you trying to push the whole way?
To be honest, no. Like, okay, last 5 laps, I knew that it's just the same. So it will be difficult unless he makes some mistakes. He didn't, so we finished like that. But yeah, it's all right. We see some points for the championship, and yeah. We'll see
great
next race.
To hear. Sorry.
No. We'll see in Valencia, yeah, next race.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Wojciech. We'll see you in Valencia. You know, championship has only just started. We'll head over then to Anthony Jordan to announce these drivers onto the podium.
Thank you very much, Nicole Sutherland down there with the drivers. Of course, a very dramatic end to their race and a near-perfect score for 1. But we'll start with the top 3, and starting with 3rd position, representing Switzerland. Please welcome the 228. It's Karabatig. In 2nd position for Poland, please welcome Wojciech Woda. And your race winner, clear by 1 second for Lithuania in the 2:02. It's Markus Šilkūnas. A dominant drive from all three in the senior OKN category, but we will now listen to the national anthem of Lithuania. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause for your top three in the OKN senior category. We'd now like to welcome James Gardle from RJONC to present the winner's trophy, and starting with third position, Chiara Batig. The second place trophy heading to Wojciech Woda. And the winner's trophy heading to Markus Šilkūnas. Well, a very dominant drive from all three and a dominant weekend from Markus Šilkūnas. Maximum championship points at the end of that one. We'll ask the drivers to lift the trophies above their head as high as they can. Nice big smiles for all of the photographers out there. And finally, we'd like to get you all up on the top step of that podium. Jump in nice and close and nice big smiles as well. A brilliant end to the weekend here in Portimão, Portugal. With 5 more rounds to go, we head to Valencia next in the sunshine in Spain. But let's see what happens there. For the top three here, one big round of applause for your top three in OKN Senior. Well, there it is. It is all we've done for today. That is it. But like we were saying, 5 more rounds to go in the championship. We head to Valencia next for what is set to be a brilliant round 2. But from everyone here at RJONC and the Champions of the Future Academy program, it is goodbye for now.
How do you turn a dream into a reality? Is it luck, talent, determination, opportunity? In racing, reality is detected by the stopwatch, measuring the difference and deciding who at the end of it all can call themselves a champion. But when opportunity isn't forthcoming, dreams can remain just that, leaving the pathway to greatness undiscovered. But through innovation and new ways of working, those dreams can become reality through the Champions of the Future Academy program, the ultimate talent detection platform. Entering its second full year running with its accessible, fair and exciting arrive and drive concept with a 6-race calendar, the championship once again opens its doors to talent from all 4 corners of the globe. Starting in Europe with 4 races, Portugal and Hungary. The arrive and drive concept makes the Champions of the Future Academy program all about the driver. Simply bring with you your race gear, mechanic and their toolbox and you'll be set to go thanks to the technical expertise of the series partners, meaning the battle to be the best is purely decided out on track. Returning for 2025 is the valued support of both the Mercedes-AMG F1 team and F1 Academy, with Kick Sauber F1 joining the family of championship partners looking to recruit new talent. 2024 saw a further increase in diversity on the grid, with over 40 nations represented, new countries on the podium and 30% female participation on track, including success for Luna Flusha, the second female champion in an international senior karting category. With many drivers building on the opportunities the Champions of the Future Academy programme provides, together with the newly established MPA, we are building more ways to make the step from karting into single-seaters and sports cars. The competition is hot, 2025 fully sold out within a month of entries opening. And with TV coverage of every race brought to you by the RGMMC Group, plus exposure through social media and written platforms, this is more than just racing. This is the place that gives you your chance to get noticed.
Absolutely superb performance. She wins the final. She wins the title.
This is the Champions of the Future Academy programme.